You see, Portal Master, that was only the beginning of a great battle. For the invasion of the Archaean Empire had already spread far and wide. To truly stop them, the giants had to face the Robot King and remove the source of his power, the Iron Fist of Arcus.
Man, he only got to be king because he looks slightly different from everyone else, so they could tell him apart. Hey, it's all of the giants! Available at a store near you! Oh, I see. The Archaeans are jealous because they haven't been able to find any of the giant Skylanders figures anywhere, and so they're trying to, like, kidnap the giants themselves and play the game with them. In fairness, can't really blame them. The game's pretty sweet. Haha. Ooh, he's got a handoff.
Without the Fist of Arcus, or a king to command them, the evil robot legions fell silent.
See, now he looks just like the rest of them, and they can't tell him apart, so they have no real leader.
But this victory carried a heavy price. The giants were swept from Skylands, where they have not been seen. Until now.
That's an interesting fail-safe mechanism built into that giant robot hand.
It is your finding them that has summoned me. Something evil is stirring. Skylands needs your help. But fear not, Portal Master. You will not be on this adventure alone. Behold!
So, what do you think of my ship, huh? She's a beaut, ain't she?
I don't know, Flynn. She seems more like a fixer-upper.
Yeah, Callie, she's got character, all right. Guy who sold it to me gave me a great deal, too. Seemed kind of desperate to get rid of it, actually.
Flynn!
Ahoy there, Hugo. So, now that I've got the ship here all ship-shape, what's your big plan?
Master Eon says something big is happening in Skylands, and we need to find out what's going on. There's an old hermit in the Outlands who saw something very important. You must go see him. Master Eon has contacted a portal master to send Skylanders and giants to help.
Well, I'll tell you, Hugo, when adventure calls, Wait, did you say giants?
Yes, they're back! So better get going. There's lots to do. Here's a map to where you need to go.
Well, Kelly, it seems that fate has brought us together again. Fate and, of course, my overwhelmingly handsome good looks. That's right. Here it comes! Boom!
I'm not sure we should feel safe flying this thing.
Although we first might want to stop off and pick up a couple of spare parts or two.
Well, I hope that you were excited to see Flynn again, and hopefully not so excited to see Hugo, because that is the last we will see of him this whole game.
Alrighty. We gotta make a quick pit stop before we shove off to find that hermity fella.
What do you expect to find around here?
Oh, you can find a lot of things around here, Callie. Maybe even love.
No, I don't think they have any of that here.
Welcome aboard the Dread Yacht, Skylander. You arrived just in time, too. Here's the dealio. First thing we need for our trip is probably the most important thing ever. Now, I get it myself, of course, but because of a misunderstanding, I'm not really allowed to set foot on this island. Hey, it's a long story.
And I'm sure a fascinating one.
So if you could just go pick it up for me, Callie can get going on some minor repairs, which I'll oversee.
Alright guys, I decided to switch to a smaller Skylander. Probably noticed that. I don't want to spoil anything, but I hope you like this boat here, because we're going to be seeing a lot of it this game. Luckily, this was not the only time it'll be covered in treasure, and well, we'll get back to this door later. For now, I don't think we'll have much use for it. Let's just head on Flynn's mission and see what we can do to help out the team. Gotta find that hermit after all, figure out what it is he saw that's so important. Well, look at that floating barrel. I never remember seeing that before. I can't seem to blow it up. How disappointing.
These walls don't appear to be fortified. A bomb.
It takes me less time to accidentally figure out how to break that wall than it does for the game to try and explain how to blow it up on purpose. Now, in case you didn't manage to get inside the life gate for whatever reason, here's our introduction proper to the root runners, I believe they're called, the new chompy pod spawning objects. Got some more giant rocks here. You can use them to take out enemies. I think you can also use them to break down the walls. Pretty sure of that. Or you can just leave them. Sometimes they have treasure under them, but generally they don't hide much. That bounce pad in the first level that took me up to some treasure, it's more the exception than the rule. I don't know. I consider this sort of like the first true level of this game. The first level is just so simplistic, and it doesn't even take place in like the normal time frame of the game. Just feels a little bit out of place to me. Over here, near some of those walls we just exploded, can jump off this cliff, and this is something that you need to watch out for throughout this game that you didn't really have to do so much of last time. There's a lot of like cliffs and ledges that house like secret things that you didn't have to look for before. Usually the paths were a lot more obvious to secret treasures and collectibles. Here, we can bring down that bomb from upstairs, do it the hard way, or we can briefly call in the help of one of our giant friends.
Any last wishes?
It's really nice to have a couple of giants handy. One, several of the giants' characters are pretty cool in their own right. And, secondly,
Riches.
you know, just in case something happens and one of your giants gets knocked out, if you have only one, it's kind of disappointing. Makes certain things trickier, makes some things actually impossible. But, for now, this level is mostly suited to any Skylander, so let's keep on trucking with our smaller squad. Bounce our way back upstairs and progress further into the level.
Using a Skylander of a particular element in areas that match will give them more power and experience.
Here's another one of those brief tutorial blurbs that's explaining the elemental zones in the overworld. They don't function the same way as the elemental gates, of course, but basically your Skylander will get more experience and deal more damage if they're in an area of the same type as them. So here, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, it's an undead Skylander element area.
Master.
I remember those guys from the last game. Hey, check this out. Hey guys, how's it going? Long time no see. Don't even have to fight them. That's how awesome I am. Well, that's how awesome Yoshi is. Oh, didn't mean to throw that way. Tried to throw that. I'm doing a real good job. Okay. Can we face a single direction and not? There we go. Did it. Nailed it. Okay. So, up ahead, looks like we're gonna have to enlist the help of another giant yet again. Let's show off our friend Flint again. I think he probably got the least amount of time to shine in the last episode. So, this time around, I think he'll probably be our main go-to Skylander giant. Because there's a couple more things that may need some giant assistance. Here's a Hephaestus chain. There's a couple of these throughout the game. This is also our first feat of strength. Feats of strength are, again, things that giants can do to
Hammer it home.
things giants can do to access new areas that couldn't be accessed before. In this case, we get a chest full of treasure. Very nice. I love that the giants are strong enough to move islands. It's just really cool and satisfying. It does make it seem silly when they get attacked by chompies and dealt damage, but, you know, what you gonna do? In any case, we've done everything we have to here, and in fact, we've gathered that first most crucial element of our trip, as Flynn stated earlier. So let's check out what exactly this thing does. The octophonic music player. Huh, I think I had one of those back in high school.
Awesome! Now it's finally a road trip!
Seriously? This is what we came here to get?
You are right, Callie. Let's get serious. Look, our engine is currently just a family of raccoons. And that's probably not a good thing, right? Luckily, I know a guy who can sell us a real one.
Wait, up until now, this ship has been running solely on raccoon power?
Angry raccoon power, to be exact. In fact, better not tell the little critters they're being replaced. They won't like that.
I'm not sure what Kelly's so upset about. Angry raccoons are pretty powerful. I mean, if you haven't seen a car run on them before, then you haven't really lived. Yet again, we've got some chompies up ahead. Let's show off something interesting, though. Not this bark demon. Though they existed in the last game, they look different. They're still just as annoying as ever, however. Let's, though, show off the power of a light core Skylander. That's right, the thing that really sets light core Skylanders apart, other than the fact that they glow when you set them on the portal, which is pretty cool, is the fact that the first time that you put them on the portal in a level, they'll summon an explosion to deal 100 damage to every enemy on the screen. It's pretty useful in a tight situation, so you might want to keep that in mind in case you have any of those light core Skylander characters for yourself. Oh. So there I am showing off one of the perils of Jetvac's suction attack. It can, well, it has a couple neat tricks. It can suck up treasure and other things from reasonable distance away. So if things get stuck on top of walls or something and you couldn't normally access them, you've got another way to get to treasures, which is nice. At the same time, though, bringing enemies close can be dangerous. Of course, enemies that are rooted to the ground, they don't pose quite the same threat of being brought up close and attacking you while you're trying to attack them. Ah, man, I love getting this much treasure. I feel like all my Skylanders this time around are luckier, or maybe this game just has more treasure in it. Either way, I'm pretty happy. So let's check out the lay of the land. I believe this is the fellow that we just saved outside by annihilating the brute runner.
Whew. Thanks for helping me back there. This town used to be such a nice place to hang out. Porch paintings, whatever. Anyway, you can always seek refuge in houses like this. And you're welcome to whatever goodies you find, I say.
Interesting character. A forger who is our friend and who is encouraging us to steal from him. That's right, there's quite a load of treasure in here. And, in fact, a legendary treasure. Now, you might be able to guess from looking at these what exactly they're going to do for us, but, again, I think I'll talk about these more later on. In any case, counts as some more gold, which is always nice. And, let's see. Do I want to give Falco all this gold? I think I'm going to want to give some to Flint.
It's crush hour.
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus a little bit heavily on getting Flint some treasure up front for a very particular reason. But I think we'll be talking about that a little bit later. I mean, I mentioned it a little bit in the introductory episode, but for now let's just focus on the level. Now, there's two ways to open this, as with all Giants things. You could get that bomb inside that house with a normal-sized Skylander, or you could just hit it with a giant hammer. That always works nicely. Gives us the key to proceed through here. Now, the reason I'm staying as a giant is because I want to show off something in this next area. It's another area where we'll encounter a large number of enemies. Initially a bunch of chompies. Oh, and luckily we're even in an earth area. Oh good, the Drow archer. I don't hate those guys or anything. So the way the archer works, in case you don't recall, he makes some targets on the ground, fires arrows into the air, and where the targets are, his arrows will fall and deal a fair amount of damage. So if you didn't notice what I did there just a moment ago, I actually did something that can cut this fight short and make it a lot less annoying. If you're trying to speedrun this is something you're going to want to keep in mind. You can use a giant to throw these boulders in this area at those towers, which stops more enemies from coming out. So then all you have to do is clear out the enemies that are here, and then the enemy gate over on the other side will lower for you. I want to demonstrate Falco's ability, because I was talking about this just a minute ago. But there's some gold up there, and some experience, and I can suck both of those in with my suction gun. So that's a neat trick. That's in fact the reason why he was recommended to me way back when, while I was still playing Spyro's Adventure after Giants had come out. Yeah, that's right. I take into account all the things that you guys tell me and suggest for playing Skylanders games, but I still have to take into account my own style and what makes me happy. So keep that in mind. If you ever give me a suggestion and I don't immediately respond to it, I will definitely have read it and thought about it, but you know, some things I just have to do for myself. So we got 2 more houses to go inside. This wasn't really a thing in the last game. It's not hugely present in this game either. This house doesn't have anything super important in it, but it does have some treasure and some leftover Chinese food, which helps because I took some damage before as Falco. You do always have to be careful with your low-level Skylanders, because while they do the same amount of damage, with the exception of upgrades that they can get, they will take more damage because they don't have their full health or armor. Here we've gathered the first of 2 keys we'll need to proceed further into this section of the level. Of course, the other one won't be quite as easy to get, and in fact we've been ambushed slightly in the time we were gone. I really like Falco's blaster. It's got some nice range to it. It's got some knockback, which is useful in certain situations, especially some that we'll be touching on once we're exploring some of the extra content in this game, which I also plan to do to some extent this time around, since there's a lot more of it to be had. But yeah, again, a lot of people say they don't like Jetpack so much, but I'm a pretty big fan of Falco here. You have to watch out with these archers, by the way, because even though they're ranged attackers, if you try and stick close to them, they can still they have this like close-up attack that does a fair amount of damage too. So you're not safe just because you're too close for them to fire at. Let's use Hinata for a moment here.
Any last wishes?
Save Flint for something a little bit later in the level, I think. But we will need the help of a giant yet again, because we have another feat of strength up here atop this cliff.
Feat of strength.
And in case I didn't mention it before, which I don't think I actually did, feat of strength requires a giant, and then you just get up close and mash on the appropriate button, which again is your action button, or Y on the Xbox, probably triangle on the PS3, and I don't actually know on the other systems. Now, we're not actually done collecting collectibles here. Can follow these bounce pads up and over. Trying to collect all these tiny gold coins, but it can be difficult. But there's also a story scroll located here on this cliff that you need the bounce pads to get to. And here's our first hint at the fact that these aren't just stories this time around. So let's read this one, and you'll understand, I'm sure.
While standing around and waiting for more chompies to come eat you is generally dangerous, there are those who enjoy dropping into special chompy pits over and over again. There must be some kind of reward down there. Or perhaps all of these people are just insane.
So this is talking about that Luck-O-Tron wheel that we picked up in the last level. If you managed to miss it the first time, which is really pretty easy to do, because why would you even think to try and go back in the chompy pit over and over again? But if you do, then you can pick up this story scroll, and it will tell you pretty much exactly how to get the Luck-O-Tron wheel. It's kind of nice, actually. I mean, I miss the silly stories that would sometimes accompany, like, troll scrolls and things like that, but it's actually kind of cool for the story scrolls to tell you, like, actual useful information about the game. Anyway, I don't think I'm gonna bother trying to, like, go back and pick up those 2 coins with the bounce pad. Especially since we have all the keys we need to proceed. Which is almost a poem, but not really.
My path lies.
We don't really need the help of a giant for the moment. So let's call on man's best friend.
Spot burn.
Oh. Right. One thing I forgot to mention. I believe it's the second house here. There's something I want to talk about real quick. Forgot to talk to this character. Let's see what he has to say.
Come back and see me someday once you learned how to play Skystones.
It's our first mention of Skystones in the game, and Skystones will become not a big part of the game, but definitely an important part of the game. I'm a pretty big fan of it.
I understand that you're in the market for an engine. That's normally quite expensive. However, I will give it to you for 1 gold coin, provided I can accompany you on your ship. Do we have a deal?
Huh. Does seem like a pretty good deal. I mean, especially since it's not our ship and we don't have to worry about the space he's taking up. Does anyone remember this guy from the last game? He was a really minor character, but now he's a lot more important. His name is Auric, and when you beat the game last time, he'd give you a huge amount of treasure. He's also the guy who appraised the pearls when we had the Clamatron, I believe he was called, the guy who made bomb so that we could advance the story. In any case, he's back, and now...
Let's have a look, shall we? Again, the engine is pretty much free, but I have other fine items available too.
Now he acts as a store, and he provides a lot of interesting options. Though this time around, all he really has are a couple of cheap hats that don't provide any significant boost. If you have the money for them, feel free to buy them. I personally recommend against it. You can always pick these up later by playing through the level again once you've got more treasure. For now, I definitely recommend saving your treasure for upgrades, assuming that you're playing through for the first time. And that's what I'm going to be doing, because the gold team's much more useful for that effect. Let's pick up the second part that we need. I'm not sure how this motorboat engine for the sky is going to compare to Angry Raccoon power. And I'm also not sure what's going to happen to those angry raccoons. But luckily, again, since I'm not captain of that ship, I don't have to worry about that.
All right. You're selling us this engine for 1 gold coin?
Indeed. And if you wish to purchase more high-quality merchandise, please come visit my store, which I shall be setting up on this very ship, per my agreement with the Skylander.
What? You're putting who in the what now?
Okay, so we've got music and this engine. What's next?
I think our navigation system might be broken. It says we're smack dab in the middle of the chocolate ocean right now. That can't be right, can it? So if we're gonna find that hermit, we might want to replace it. Good news is the evil Drow have just the thing. The compass of ultimate finding. Bad news is they also worship it, and it's well guarded. Oh yeah, you know, that reminds me. Turns out that fairy, Persephone, stowed away on my ship. Strange girl, really. Anywho, she was asking all kinds of questions about you, and frankly, I couldn't understand a word. So why don't you just head through that door and see if you can make heads or tails out of what she's saying?
Now, if you remember from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, Persephone was the shop of that game. And she still is in this game. Of course, she sells upgrades, whereas Auric will be selling other curios and interesting knickknacks. Let's see, do I have any characters who might be able to purchase an upgrade? Let's see if Flint has enough for something. Actually, I'm pretty sure he's not going to have enough for what I want him to buy. But we still need to check out this shop anyway, because that drawbridge is going to stay up until we do.
Extremely. It is a great party to dance with Skylanders again, especially now that I have learned to speak your language much better. I am also here to grant you amazing upgrades. I can convert gold into magic, and that magic into new and enhanced abilities for you and all Skylanders.
Alright, so let's check out the shop. So again, the winged sapphires that you pick up will provide a discount. We've already got one discount applied here. Pretty sure it's the same amount as last time, which is 2% discount on whatever the original price was. So yeah, this initially cost 500 and now it costs 10 less. So yeah, I don't have enough for even the cheapest upgrade, and I think Flynn right now has the most gold of any character, so I think we're just out of luck for the moment. But it's important to know where she is, because we'll need to visit her in the future to buy upgrades, because we're not just satisfied with our low-level Skylanders. In any case, let's get back to our mission. Alright, and now we have to go through our mandatory select screen to look at stuff. Just to touch on this real quick, I don't think I ever talked about this in the last game, but for hats, if you ever want to apply a hat that you've already got to a character, you don't have to do it when you get the hat right away. You could in fact, I don't know, put a turban on Flynn right now, using the select menu. So, that might be interesting to know. But, again, we're trying to show off some of our smaller Skylander friends.
These spots burn.
And Rush hasn't actually had a chance to fight anyone today. See, now the drawbridge has lowered. If you were paying close attention, you'll notice that the area we're in now is called the Dread Yacht. That is the name of the ship that Flynn now owns. Now we've got ourselves a couple of those bark demons who are really unfriendly fellows. Luckily, they don't seem to be terribly resistant to my fire breath attacks. One thing to watch out for is that they often spawn near these root runners, which means there's a supply of chompies around, and those bark demons can chow down on chompies in order to regain 20 health. So it can be important, depending on how much damage you're able to do, to try and attack them quickly so that you deal them too much damage for them to recover from their chompy bonus. Let's try out something, huh? Got a firewall here. No, you're just stuck there? You don't want to come find me? They attack from too far away from my wall to deter them. But there are some enemies in the game that you can use the firewall to just sort of keep enemies away from you. They just like don't want to get any closer, or they do and they like run into your wall and then they get knocked back and they run into your wall again. It's kind of funny. Now, sporadically throughout the game we have these cannons again. You hop inside with the action button, blast off the locks, and open a new path forward. They were in the last game too, but actually for the moment, I'm more interested in what's down here. Hey look, there's a guy standing outside a conspicuous place. I wonder what he's going to tell us about.
What the... Where... What? These mines are dangerous enough without you sneaking up on me like that. But if you insist on putting yourself at risk, there's some kind of mystical hat in there. I heard it's got special powers. Anyway, back to sleep.
I couldn't tell the difference. You got goggles on and you're a mole person who's kind of squinchy to begin with, so... Yeah, you didn't even tell me you were sleeping. You could just feel free to take your nap. I won't tell your supervisor. I like the new elemental gates a lot better than the old ones. Like, they just sort of, like, react to your presence more. Feels more significant somehow. But, as the gate suggests, we're gonna need an Earth Skylander.
It's crush hour.
So let's open up.
Cool place. Let's check it out.
Alright, so, just like in the last game, Earth Skylanders can clear these rocks with their basic attacks, which is particularly useful now because, well, in this section in particular, you'll have to alternate between using a bomb and the pickaxe, and before you could hold both, but for some reason in Giants you can only hold one. So, for example, if you're carrying a pickaxe trying to, like, clear out all these rocks, then, suddenly you need the bomb and you throw it at one of these purple crystals to clear the way, then you're going to lose your pickaxe and you'll have to go pick it up again. It's just kind of annoying. So what I recommend doing here is clearing out this area with an Earth Skylander, so that then you can use a faster Skylander to move the bombs around, and you don't have to worry about the pickaxe at all. And since in order for this to be an issue at all, you have to get inside this gate anyway, it means that you have an Earth Skylander, and you should be able to do that. Now, interestingly, Crusher here, or Flint, has the ability to break the purple crystals with his hammer by using 2 attacks on it. There's sort of a delay to it, not entirely sure what the deal with that is, but he can break through the purple crystals, which, to my knowledge, only one other Skylander can definitely do, and that's Prism Break, but I feel like there's a couple others who might be able to do it, so it's worth some trial and error. I mean, I think I remember hearing a rumor that in the last game, like, Whirlwind could do it, but I don't think that ever worked for me, so that might have just been a rumor, or just misheard that, or something. Again, let's point out the footsteps. When you're in element zone of matching type in this game, not only do you leave like a glowing trail behind, whereas like normally it's not quite so pretty, you also gradually regain health, which is just like a nice little bonus. It's not a big deal or anything, but it's nice. I like it. So there you go. 2 hammer strikes, and then a couple seconds later, and I can break the purple crystals with him. But with a normal Skylander, let's show that off real quick. Let's use a quick one. Relatively quick, anyway.
And destroy.
Welcome, Meta Ridley. Oh yeah, fun fact, the light core thing will also break barrels, aside from just doing damage to enemies. So normal Skylanders will just use bombs to blow up those crystals and get to the other side. Again, I think the easiest way to do this is to have your Earth Skylander just sort of like break everything down and then have someone quick port the bomb around to clear those. But if you're fortunate enough to have someone who can break those purple crystals with his own attacks, then you don't really need to worry about the timing, especially since some of these can be really tricky without like a really quick Skylander. See, like, I barely made that throw, and there's a purple crystal even further on up here. For my purposes, I'm probably just going to have Flint break down that wall, because I've already demonstrated how you could do it if you wanted to. It's just going to be a lot quicker for me to show things off in this fashion. Now, on the ledge where I'm standing now, I just picked up a key, and that will open up the path on the far left side, where I had Meta Ridley blow up that bomb just a moment ago. But for now, breaking that purple crystal will gain us access to another collectible, treasure chest, and these are always welcome. And of course, this is the 4th one for this level, so we're definitely making progress towards accomplishing all of our goals. Anyone who watched my last run will know that my first priority is to get all the collectibles and beat the levels, and everything beyond that is sort of a secondary objective. I do like to try and get as many of the level goals as possible, but those are my main focus for the run. Again, I'm considering doing more this time around, but it depends on your level of interest and what I can actually accomplish. Let's see, a hat. Well, I already just put a hat on Flint, and Meta Ridley hasn't had much time to show off this level. So let's see what this looks like on his awesome robot head. I've noticed that in this game some of the responsive action things are a little bit more finicky than last time. Got a police siren hat to increase our speed. I imagine this will actually look quite nice on him.
Hat acquired.
Yeah, it looks almost like it belongs there. And again, if you don't have an Earth Skylander, I'm not sure how you got in here, but you could just use this pickaxe to break your way through here. Fairly quick, but again, switching back and forth between that and the bomb can be a pain, so I recommend doing it the way I've already suggested. Clearing out the rocks, then doing the bomb, and so on and so forth. Luckily, I get to carry this pickaxe around with me for the rest of the level for no particular reason. Oh yeah, this time around the cannons you have to, like, prepare the target reticle. I don't know why that happens. I've managed to read a lot of things that answer questions I couldn't answer for myself, and yet so far I have not managed to figure out why that happens. Break some barrels, and look, we've got ourselves another sort of sneaky ledge. And we'll have to be switching right back to Rush, as we're gonna need a fire Skylander in just a moment. Check out this menacing place. It's all lava in here. Well, no wonder we need a fire Skylander to get inside. But I would like to demonstrate something real quick, which is that, as I mentioned, you no longer need a fire Skylander to walk on lava. Everyone's apparently been taking, like, fire walking lessons or something, because many Skylander feels at home here. Heck, I'm pretty sure even a water Skylander can walk around in here no trouble. But let's just verify that. Yep, look at that. Not even bothered. Doesn't care at all. He's not even upset. But, Rush doesn't have a hat yet, and this is a fire gate, so let's give him the honors of opening up this hat box. I find that the hats in general in this game just aren't as exciting. Oh man, look at this hat. It's so good. Let's put it on right now. It's a chompy, you guys. It's like an upside down chompy, like he's eating your head. It's precious. It almost looks like a chew toy that you might give your dog, so it feels like a good choice for a hat for Rush. Alright, so we've cleared out this place. This is a pretty simple one, not as involved as that Earth Gate we were just taking a look at. And, yeah, there's really only like one short section left to this level.
Hello again, Skylander.
Oh, hey,
I forgot to
Persephone.
tell you something. This is a winged sapphire. When you collect these, I can create those upgrades for you with less gold. It's like a discount.
Yep, so even though she doesn't explain it to you until just now, as I pointed out earlier, the upgrade of first level's sapphire will still count so long as you manage to collect it. Hey, check it out, it's a giant gate. Ooh, and a soul gem. Well, you know I'm gonna have to break that down. Laboon, help me out.
Hail to the whale!
Makes it look so easy. I kind of like the new soul gem music. I mean, it's really just the Giant's theme, but it feels so much more triumphant. Yes, this unlocks a power for Hothead, the fire giant, and his soul gem ability is called Hot Rod, which is a really bizarre one. I don't think it does any attack damage, but it makes him go faster. Of course, transforming into the Hot Rod takes kind of a while, so I'm not really sure it nets you any speed. It's just sort of a different way of getting around, really. Anyway, he's cool. I'm a big fan of him. I have actually tried him out, but he's not on my main team because, well, I need some giants to be able to make sure I can do all the giant-y things on all my practice playthroughs. Plus, we've got plenty of giant friends for now. There we go, 2% discount, just as we learned earlier. Right, I forgot to point something out. I'm just gonna switch characters because I feel like it. Who do I want to finish the level with? I'm gonna say Flint.
It's crush hour.
So the quickest way to get past this part of the level, in my opinion, you can mess around with all these blocks and make it so they form a straight line so you can get across this easier, or you can take advantage of that little trick I learned in the last game where you can sort of walk diagonally across blocks. It works pretty consistently, so as long as you're trying to make it across diagonally, it'll probably work for you. So if this is what you plan on doing, all you have to do is push this one block forward, like forward and then back, and then you can get across this more easily. Again, it's a neat little trick for trying to speedrun this level, something you might want to take advantage of. Speedrunning is useful if you're trying to clear all the, like, challenge goals. I forget what the 3 specific categories are called. So yeah, there's a bunch of archers who will try to damage you if you just linger around and can't quite make your shots on this gate. You can take care of them right away. You also want to take care of this windmill, because there's a Luck-O-Tron wheel hidden inside. And you also probably want to take care of this wagon thing for 2 reasons. 1, it's the thing spawning all of those archers, and 2, it's full of treasure. So, yeah, we've managed to hide 2 collectibles here in this last section of the level. First, that winged sapphire that they make a show of, and secondly, this Luck-O-Tron wheel. Actually 3, counting the soul gem that I already picked up as well. So yeah, don't worry if you're playing through this level and you feel like you don't have everything going into this last section, because, well, there's a lot hidden here. Here we've got a lucky wheel of health for the Luck-O-Tron. You plug this in, and you're more likely to pick up food items from defeating enemies. So that's nice if you're in a particularly difficult level. You'll have the ability to change them before heading out to levels in the future, just not quite yet, because again, we don't have the hub world, but we will soon. In fact, very soon. Got our magical compass to help us find our way. Let's see what Flynn has to tell us now.
Wow, that went way better than when I tried it.
Wait, you went after this compass before?
What? Look, I told you it was a long story. Point is, it's ours now, so I say we set course for the chocolate ocean.
Flynn, we've got a hermit to find, remember? It's time we get this little road trip on the road. Shall we weigh anchor, Captain?
Boom!
Look, Callie, I know that you're the smart one, and I appreciate that you have the safety of the Skylands in mind, but can't we just go to the chocolate ocean? That sounds kind of awesome. I mean, it sounds way better than talking to a smelly old hermit, so kind of on Flynn's side this time around. Again, we've managed to take on all of the goals for the level except the time limit, which you can't really do all these other things and also get the time limit, but there may be an occasion to take that on later. For now, we've taken care of 2 levels, and, well, let's just show off what happens next.
Well, it looks like it'll be a little while yet before we get to our destination. Sure hope whatever this hermit saw is worth all the hubbub. Meanwhile, why don't you make yourself at home and explore the ship some?
Just wanted to thank you again. I believe that our partnership will be mutually beneficial. Speaking of which, follow me and I will show you where I've set up shop.
Here it is, everyone. We've finally done it. We've gained access to the hub of this game. That's right, all the rest of the missions in the game will be embarking on from here on the Dread Yacht, Flynn's new airship. And that's why it's so important that we learn that Persephone is here. The Luck-O-Tron is here through this door, and in fact, we may as well plug in a bulb. Or a wheel, rather.
This ancient device is the Luck-O-Tron. You can use it to increase your chances for rewards by feeding it lucky wheels, which are scattered throughout Skylands.
Now, I haven't messed around with this too much, but from my experience, it's not so much feeding it lucky wheels as it is plugging them in. I'm gonna put in, I think experience is probably good for now. Usually my primary choice is wealth because there's just so many things that I want to buy, especially upgrades early on, but so far all we have are experience and health, and so experience seems more useful to us. So let's do that. And now you can see the wheel spinning inside and the bulb lighting up its color. Now you can have up to 4 wheels inside the machine, but you have to unlock the bulbs by buying them from Alric's shop. So let's check out where he's hiding on the ship. As he said, we could follow him up this way. Oh good, it's a lock puzzle. I love these things. Luckily this one's pretty simple. But, boy, do I not love these. There's not a ton of them in this game, but, if you've played this game, you know there's one part of this game I don't really love because of these lock puzzles. It's almost like a mean joke. But we'll investigate that later. For now, hey, buddy, got Alric, and, if you remember the totem pole in the last game, this door functions the same way. There's lots of, like, locking multiple steel door things, and you open each one by attacking it with a Skylander of the appropriate element. You can open it up and get a bunch of treasure. So we'll probably be taking advantage of that throughout the course of the game, possibly even before the next level. But here's Alric. I don't think that we can afford anything now. Again, this early in the game, I like to focus on upgrades. And since we haven't managed to buy a single one just yet, I think it's a little premature to be spending money at Alric's shop on other things. Hopefully every time we show up here on the ship, there's new boxes, crates, and things like that that are just full of treasure for us to pick up and enjoy. But, yeah, generally speaking, I think we've handled everything for today. Except perhaps this. Yes, this music box that Flynn was so excited about is actually pretty fun. It will like remix a song based on some of your Skylanders catchphrases. I enjoy it. It's cute. But we've taken care of everything for today. We've got 2 levels down at this point. And next time we'll continue our search for that hermit and try to find out what it is he saw that's so important to the future of Skylands. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you here next time for more Skylanders Giants. Later, everybody.